point. When you speak about the different nationalities that Glenn Beck had at his rally, that's old school stuff. I mean, hopefully we learn a lesson, those that's maybe much younger than myself, to watch that happen. But that's always happened. I mean, you always do that. You know, because if there's mouthpieces out there having a conversation or a dialogue the way we're doing it tonight, we all recognize that when the president was elected, I'm cheering and I'm fighting and I'm going to the inauguration because my foreparents, never got to see this and I'm all riled up about it. But I agree. Has he done some things that aggravated me? Absolutely. And frustrated me? Absolutely. But he's still the president of the United States of America, and I think that's what we have to understand and recognize, okay? Now, as far as I can remember, and you correct me if I'm wrong, there's never been a president to go through what this man has been through. Come on, man, you got his wife, you got his children, you got, the president, and, but we have to understand whatever God we serve, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay.
Go ahead.
I think that many African American people saw the election of Barack Obama to the highest office in this country as a zenith in the history of African American people. And now, in less than 2 years of his administration, there are many of those same people who were honored and shared in this great victory, this great historical event, express what I would say is the declining of the sun. The declining of the sun simply because in the minds of most people, he has failed in his promise to fulfill certain promises and expectations of African American people. And I think if we don't understand what President Obama inherited when he came into this position, and we have seen it before, time and time again. If we look in Detroit, if we look in Gary, if we look in Philadelphia, when the society or the country or the city or the state is at its lowest ebb, they bring in a face, and they bring in a mindset. And now all of the fingers are pointing toward Barack Obama. Life is stages of growth and development, is an evolving process. In our lives, we tend to prioritize those things that are most important. If we are wise people, we tend to those matters first. I think we don't really realize the weight and the gravity of what has been placed on this president. And because we live in a microwave society, where we want instant results, where we want to see things occur overnight, I am not necessarily convinced that we have given President Obama the opportunity to go through the necessary process to bring about the necessary changes. How many, they talk about President Clinton and what he did for African American people. This man was in office for how many terms? You see? And so I am not ready to throw my hand in on President Obama. I think that what we as an African American people, especially in our own neighborhoods, we need to get a new breath of life and maybe seek a new direction. You know, I always ask myself, what am I doing in my community, in my home, you know, to make the situation better? We have people in important positions in this town, African American people. You know, what are they doing for the African Americans of this city? So I think we have to take a deep introspective. I think we have to look inside of ourselves, because we as a people, we have more issues than anybody I know. We have issues with each other. We have issues with people of other races. We have issues with the President of the United States of America. And most of the time, all we do is give a lot of verbiage.
That's right.
But when it comes down to coming up with a soluble plan, when it comes down to forming a brain trust, when it comes to having a collective of the best minds that we have in this city, we have not yet moved in that direction.
You know, I have to disagree with you on that, because we have the best minds in the city right here at this table. Let's go ahead and get that next clip ready to go here, because.
But I do think you understand what I'm saying.
Yes, I do, and but you know, it's so difficult because sometimes when you start getting people with certain credentials or certain positions, they don't want to be on a panel with a lesser person who's not at their equal. That's kind of hard to explain. But I think that one thing that we have to do, though, is make sure. Frazier, you have a question?
No, I don't have a question, but what you just explained to your viewing audience and your guests was that's the problem. Mm-hmm. That is the problem. Mm-hmm. And as the brother said, you know, until a community comes together collectively and trusts each other, regardless of race, creed, color, religion, or whatever you do when you play basketball or soccer, come together collectively, have a discussion, and hopefully you got some committed people having those discussions and come to trust each other. That's the only way you're going to get it done. Suppose I'm doing everything that I can, or I should be, at my home and in my neighborhood. If you would just take that attitude, if you just start there, and the folks that's doing it can come together and you build a coalition. But you got to have that. You must have a trust with the folks that you have in these conversations and trying to do some positive things for them. And all it's not going to be well. I mean, there's going to be ups and downs. There's going to be turnarounds. There's going to be negatives. But that's what you must do.
And oftentimes, we leave out the people who are affected most.
Correct.
The average Joe on the street, the average person who does not understand why he's in the condition or position that he's in. How many times do we have them around the round table to give an honest assessment from a practical point of view?
But you know, that's one thing that we're working on, and that's what I've been doing, you know, with this show, because I've noticed that nobody else is doing that, and but people have been so conditioned to either I won't say that you got to pay them or offer them some food to get them out here, but that's pretty much as bad as it is.